Namaste. Welcome to this new session. And today we are commencing to look into the second of the vrittis, the Viparyaya. Viparyaya means for everyone it's just illusion. And the best example, well known example, is the example of Rajju Sarpa Viparyaya, mistaking rope to snake, which is abhasa, which is, as it's said to be, illusion. Then another example is Shukti Rajata, the silver nacre, mistaking nacre to silver, or Sthanu Purusha, mistaking a post to a human being. So this is what is Viparyaya. One might think there is not much to delineate on it. It's just illusion and it happens. And we experience these illusions, or the example of mirage, mistaking water to mass of land. But much is investigated in Viparyaya by Indian philosophical systems. Basically, if you are familiar with this concept of the Maya, which the Vedanta has amplified, that what we see in one Vedanta, it is said to be all abhasa, it is all false knowledge. That means our perception, empirical perception, the cognition, seeing the rose as rose, seeing the man as man, seeing the river as river, seeing the flower as flower, which is called cognition, valid knowledge. But then, maybe most of you have come across this concept of Maya, that even this knowledge, so-called valid knowledge, is false knowledge in one of the Vedantas. Therefore, Indian philosophical system has really gone quite fascinatingly in details. And therefore, it is quite interesting topic in Indian philosophical system. In epistemology, it is just set aside. It's after all illusion. The point is that human psyche and human senses are capable of getting abhasa, illusions. And fascinating the point is that the process in which the cognition happens is the same process in which illusion happens, but yet it is not cognition. It is invalidated. It is not valid. The process is not different. The way you look at the rose as rose and the way you look at the rope as snake, the process doesn't differ. The process is identical, but one is pramana bhuta and the other one is apramana. The other one is invalidated. That means, in simple words, the way the eyes will have cognition, that is, looking at the rose as rose, conceiving rose as rose, taking rose as rose, and taking rope as snake, the process has no difference. The process is absolutely identical. But one is pramanita knowledge, Pramanika knowledge, Pramanita knowledge, valid cognition, while the other one is not. Bang opposite. And therefore, it is worth investigating. By one and the same process, both are occurring, pramana as well as viparyaya. But one is valid, the other one is invalid. So, the point is that viparyaya vritti is quite common to everyone. It's not that somebody is not familiar with illusions. Illusions do happen. So, therefore, it is important to ascertain that our knowledge is not viparyaya but is pramana. Now, Patanjali starts defining viparyaya with a sutra. Viparyayo mithya jnanam atadrupa pratishtam. If you go in literal sense, viparyaya is a mithya jnanam, false knowledge. Atadrupa pratishtam. That means the things are seen as they are not. The rope is not seen as rope, but the rope is seen as snake, is illusion. Therefore, the rope, when not seen in its form as rope, it is illusion. When the rope is seen as rope, then it is cognition, pramana. So it is seen in another form. For illusion, the object is seen in another form. But when it is another form, it is not any another form, any other form. This is an important aspect. Why is it that looking at while the rope is at sight, why is it that we end up taking it as a snake? Why is it that we don't take rope as elephant, rope as a creeper, rope as a flower, rope as something else? But we impose something which is in a great way identical to an object. We do not impose unidentical objects on an object at sight. So it is not just false knowledge, because it would be also false knowledge that if you are seeing elephant in place of rope, if you see elephant when the rope is lying, it will also is a false knowledge. If you see a tiger in place of rope, it is a false knowledge. It is as false as taking rope as snake. So it's not just false knowledge. This has to be considered here. It's an important thing to consider, that it is not merely false knowledge. And therefore, illusion has to be described in quite a forensic language. You just can't end up saying that having false knowledge is illusion, because we do not have illusion of anything on anything. Therefore, it's not easy to define illusion. What I'm trying to say, it is not easy to define illusion by merely saying that it is false knowledge. That's why Indian philosophers have tried to define viparyaya. Quite meticulously they have worked on it, and forensically they have worked on it. Therefore, there are so many interpretations of viparyaya in Indian philosophy. Otherwise, there is not much to say about. After all, it is illusory knowledge, and why don't just say it is illusory knowledge and set it aside? But they had a lot of fascination to describe it forensically. Uh, so, we will have to consider Patanjali's sutra here. He doesn't say Viparjaya Mithya Jnanam would have been sufficient for a layman. Because it is anyway invalidated. But he adds to that description Atadrupa Pratishtam. It is established in the form that is not its form, that is not the form of object. So we'll have to really try to understand the definition here, and we cannot be just setting it aside by dubbing it as false knowledge and then not think over it. Because philosophers find that it is very important to deal with Viparjaya. Because then, as I said in Vedanta, even if you seeing the rose as rose, it is not really true knowledge. It is knowledge of the appearancetive form of an object. And from the appearancetive form of the object, we are trying to designate that it is rose. So we are going by appearancetive form, and philosophers are not so superficial that they look at the thing and try to describe the appearancetive form. So what essentially rose is for a philosopher is a different vision, and perhaps more essential vision. And therefore, in one of the Vedantas or a higher realm of knowledge, even why Vedanta, higher realm of knowledge, going by appearancetive form and designating something by appearancetive form is quite a blunder. And therefore, the illusion, which is just a perceptive illusion, and the illusion that is there, even otherwise, needs a distinction. And therefore, Viparjaya has been very interestingly investigated. So the point is, in place of Viparjaya, the things are not merely seen as they are not, but they are seen in some form. If merely not seeing the rope is rope, this is not the case in Viparjaya, that we do not see the rope as rope, but we see the rope as snake. So this is a point that is to be considered. That's why the forensic process has been applied in describing the illusion. It's not just false knowledge. So the Viparjaya has to be considered. Now when you are having an experience of Viparjaya, such as seeing rope as snake, what is major reason behind it? That assisting cause is weak cause. If it is well lit area, then you won't be having that kind of illusion. We are taking the example of rope and snake. Now usually why do we mistake rope to snake is that there is a coefficient cause is weak, that is the light, that is luminosity or illusion, the luminosity. So if it's a very, very bright, sufficiently bright area, then we will not be having this illusion. So the coefficient cause is one of the reasons why we mistake rope to snake. While in case of mirage, see, this happens very often, particularly in summer if you are traveling. You are traveling on the road, you know it is a stretch of road ahead of you, but at a distance, the sheen on the road is so much that you think that you see as if there is some water there. This is called Mrugajala. The deer gets this illusion uh, sometimes, and it goes after it, thinking that there is a water, and then it wants to consume water. It goes there and it finds no water. What is the reason here? Is it the same reason that the coefficient cause was weak enough? Because this happens in afternoon time, sunlight time. Sun is so bright, but even then it happens. So this is an optic illusion. It's an optic illusion. It is not that the light is weak. Or in illusions such as taking a pose to man, it is usually lack of light, insufficient light, and therefore we have such illusions. Sufficient illumination is not there, sufficient luminosity is not there, sufficient light is not there, and therefore we get illusion. But in case of mirage, when there is sufficient light, there is no dearth of light, no deficiency of light. But it is a scientific reason why we get illusion. It is because of the organ of vision. It is organ of vision. Again, no fault in organ of vision. Perfect vision. Yet it happens. There is another kind of illusion which happens because of fault in eyes. Because of defect in eyes, you see two things in place of one thing. When there is only one object, you see two objects placed side by side. There will be only one rose, but we will see two roses. It is because of defect of eyes. Or there is only one moon in the sky, and then you see two moons. This is because of the defect of the eyes. So sometimes it can happen because of defect in senses. It can happen because of deficiency in sensory power. So defect in senses, or fault in senses, or some limitation in senses. Sometimes there is limitation in the senses. Senses are working in normal way. Senses are normal, but senses have limitations. And therefore we will not be seeing the things as they are. It is because of the limitation of the senses. Or the other reason is the optic illusion, where there is no fault in senses. Senses are working in normal range. Yet there will be illusion. Perhaps you recall school day example that you have experienced in your school days in physics. And a disk is colored 7 colors in a disk, and then a disk is rotated fast. When the disk is rotated fast, you see only white. The whole disk as in white color, while actually it is not white color. So this is a limitation of the eyes, because eyes have some limitation to register an image. And then if the image is rotated like in a case of colorful disk, a disk with 7 colors, when it is rotated fast, you see that as a white. Now this is not a defect of the eyes. Even if you are a scientist, you are going to get it. Even if you know that there are 7 colors, yet you will be seeing only one color. So there are so many kinds of illusions which can happen, where false knowledge will be there. However, everywhere the false knowledge is different. So this has to be taken into consideration. So it is not right to just say that illusion is a false knowledge, or illusion is imposition, merely an imposition, wrong impositions. because these are the various kinds of uh, illusions that we can come across. Even a physicist will be having that illusion. The mirage will even occur to physicist. Although he knows that it is some refraction of the sun rays, although he knows that there is no water, yet he will have the vision of the water on landmass. Although he knows it, yet he is not free from that illusion. He will see the same way as a layman will think, or as a deer thinks, antelope sees, he will also see the same thing. As a deer sees, he will also see the mirage. And although he has the knowledge that it is not mirage, yet he has the perception of that as mirage. So he be that scientist. And the disc, which as I said, 7-color disc, he knows. So he knows that the limitation of the visual organ, you have to allow some time for a visual organ to see the things as they are. But when you rotate the disc so fast, it doesn't happen. The time is not allowed to see the red as red, yellow as red, and purple as purple, etc. And therefore, the illusion occurs. Although you might paint the disc, you know that it is painted in 7 colors, but you rotate it fast, you will see that it is only white. So it is not a limitation. It is a limitation of the sense. It is not a fault of the eyes. It is not fault of the vision. It is limitation of the vision. So the false knowledge will come in so many ways, and therefore it really doesn't suffice to say that it is just false knowledge. The second thing is that it is the same process as the process of pramana, pratyaksha pramana, direct perception. Whatever is the process of direct perception, it is the same process here. But then why it is invalidated? Because pramanena badanam apramanasya drushyam. It is subsequently invalidated by same process of perception. The process in which the rope is seen as snake, in the identical process you put on some light there, and in the same process you see, but you now see rope as rope and not rope as snake. The process is not changing. The pramana itself invalidates. So the subsequent direct perception invalidates the earlier direct perception. So Vyasa has pointed out this. Pramanena badanam apramanasya drushyam. Apramanasya drushtam. It is seen that pramana itself invalidates that illusion, and it becomes apramanam. Or seeing the 2 moons in the sky with a finger in between, when you remove that, then you see the moon as one moon. But the process of perception is not changing, but yet another perception invalidates earlier perception, which was illusion. So the Bhramita Pratyaksha is invalidated by Nirbhranta Pratyaksha. This is how the philosophers describe it in forensic language. As long as the second perception has not come, the illusion lingers, continues. Anyway, now this will happen with regards to illusions such as seeing the rope as snake, Nakar silver illusion, Sthanu Purusha, post and man illusions, So that will be invalidated. But mirage is not invalidated. Even if you know that it is invalid, it is not invalidated. Because it is not seen as a invalid perception. It still continues. So we know that there is no water, we know that it is refraction of the sun rays, and therefore it seems to be water. While we know that there is no water, yet illusion will stay. Because that is the limitation for the vision of the eyes, and it's a scientific reason that sun rays refraction is the cause of the mirage phenomenon. The other one, as I said, gati parakashta. When something is moving very, very fast, you can get illusion. Like I gave you the example of disk. When it is steadied, then you don't have the illusion. When you steady the disk, then you see you don't have the illusion. But if you again rotate, again you will get the illusion. So knowledge will not invalidate it. Merely knowledge that it is not white disk will not prevent the illusion of disk appearing white. So therefore, see, these are certain things which are investigated in epistemology as to why the illusion occurs and what is the kind of illusion. So having knowledge of physical sciences and laws of physics, etc., still the illusion would be there. So these are two factors. One is the laws of physics, because of which you will see you will have illusions. Even if you know that what is cited is not that it is atadrupa jnanam, it is vithya jnanam, it is false knowledge, yet that false perception will not be done away with. The other one is coefficient cause. The coefficient causes will also cause illusion. So even when the coefficient cause again appears the same way, the illusion can again have its place in your perception. Then there is something called as hallucination. Mati vibhrama. Mati vibhrama also gives illusion. Say if you go round and round and round, children play this game. When you stand at a spot and go round and round and round and round and round, and when you stop your going round, still you think the things around you are going round. You don't see them steady. You don't see them steady. So it still continues. The children take joy in this. They play with this. So they think the things around them, suppose they are standing in a room and then going round and round and round and round and round 10 times, 15 times, 20, 25 times. And then they stop. When they stop, they feel something is going around, still moving. All that is around is still moving, and they enjoy that spin which is going or continuing in the brain. They feel that they are still turning. So that's called, that's also quite natural. It's not that there is defect in the brain. But hallucination can be a defect in the brain. Then also we get this illusion by obsessions. So these are all psychological defects. Hallucination occurs to some psychological patients. And obsession is there. Obsession also can cause illusions. This is a psychological defect. So see, there are so many causes which can result into illusion or which can give illusion. Obsession is called pachad. If something is, your mind is obsessed with something, you will see that everywhere. Now, that is a neurological defect. Hallucination is a neurological defect. but that will give you that will give you illusion. Okay. So therefore, there is something to investigate and not just brush it aside, saying that it is illusory knowledge. So there is something that needs to be investigated in viparjaya. Then again, it is not any in these impositions which we saw, various reasons of impositions. It is not that anything is imposed on anything. Something is imposed on something. That is worth taking note of. Even when it is an obsession or when it is kind of obsession or hallucination, we impose something on that something. We don't impose anything on anything, but something on anything or something on something. Ponder over this. So we're saying when it's an obsession, there is something in our mind, it is obsessed with something, and that is imposed on any object outside. So also in case of hallucinations. So therefore, this is the reason why viparjaya has been investigated with some amount of depth in it. Now, as I said, there are metapsychical illusions. Psychological illusions are there, like the case of obsession and the hallucination. The metapsychical illusions means it is kleshas. Because if you will look at the sutra which is referring to kleshas, anitya seen as nitya, permanent seen as impermanent seen as permanent, impure seen as pure, dukkha, sukha seen as dukkha, or dukkha seen as taken as sukha rather, non-self taken as self. So again, these kleshas are kind of illusions. These are metapsychical illusions. They don't leave us until we are free from kleshas. So anitya, shuchi, dukkha, anatmasu, nitya, shuchi, sukha, atmakhyatira avidya. This avidya, so taking the things in a bang opposite way. Impermanent as permanent, impure as pure, sorrowful as pleasurable, non-self as self. This will not leave us until we are free from kleshas, having become yogis. So yogis only are free from these kleshas. And therefore in the avidya concept, you also come across some perversion, illusion, and that is taking it bang opposite. In case of psychological illusions, we don't take a bang opposite. It is only we impose something. We impose some particular thing on that. We don't impose anything on anything, but impose something on something. In case of hallucination, we might impose something on everything. So also in case of obsession, we might impose something on anything. But here we are imposing bang opposite. If you look at the Avidya Sutra. And therefore for Patanjalas, this became more fascinating to investigate because of the metapsychical illusion, which is not invalidated by another perception. like is the case of psychological illusion, it is invalidated by another perception. This remains, and it remains and remains. It goes, when it goes for all times. It doesn't reappear. While in case of illusions, if you have once the illusion imposing snake on rope, and then it is invalidated, it doesn't mean that thereafter you will never have it once again. It can have recurrence. It will again happen. It can happen again. So illusions will repeat. It's not that once invalidated you will never ever have it. But it can recur. There is a recurrence. While in case of metapsychical illusions, there will be no recurrence. So, therefore, Vyasa brings in Seyam pancha parva bhavati avidya aspita raga dvesha abhinivesha klesha iti. What is there no illusion? It's something called like illusion only in Avidya Sutra, Avidya Lakshana. So if you look into the definition of Avidya, it is some similar thing. And therefore that is metapsychical illusion for Patanjalas. Therefore, another reason why Patanjalas have gone into illusion with greater interest and very justifiable. So, this is something introductory to illusion. As I said, there is much to investigate in illusion, and I want you to just have some clue to this as to why there is such investigation at depth. Now, in Indian philosophy, there is very important kind of topic which comes in every Indian philosophy. That is called theory of errors. This is erroneous knowledge. Illusion is erroneous knowledge. And it is human to err, as all of you know. That means the error will be taking place by being human beings, by being mortals. So it is not that no one ever makes an error. Now what is error? Error is again something like illusion. Erroneous perception. It is erroneous perception. So therefore we are all prone to be committing errors. And illusion is an error. And therefore it needs an investigation. Therefore there are very interesting theories about error. The illusions have been differently described by different philosophers. So this topic in Darshana Shastra is called Khyāti-vāda. So there are many stands taken by different philosophers as to the theory of error, and then each of the theory is investigated, thoroughly investigated, taken under scrutiny by other philosophers. If I have a theory of error, another philosopher will scrutinize it. So it will be refuted for the faults it might be having, and that person will try to provide argument to prove that his interpretation is proper. This is called Khandana Mandana. So in Khandana Mandana, in philosophy, this is quite an important aspect. I just can't postulate my standpoint. This is the convention in Indian philosophy, that you just can't postulate. You can't say this is my point of view and I am postulating it. No, you will not be able to do that. You will have to consider others' points of view and make it a duty to refute other theories, other postulations and then provide something to substantiate your postulation. I just can't have my postulation. I have to substantiate my postulation and I have to refute any contrary postulations. That's called Khandana Mandana. This is a very, very interesting aspect in Indian philosophical system. You just can't say this, just as we say, this is my opinion, this is my personal opinion. And then nobody can argue there. No, in philosophical system, you just can't have your opinion. You have to postulate it. You just can't say, I have this standpoint, or this is my perception, or this is my view. You just can't have a view. You have to substantiate your view. And you have to disprove all the opposite views which will be available, which are around you. So, for those who are students in philosophy, they have a lot of interest in this aspect of philosophical polemics, where there is Khandana Mandana. It's called Khandana Mandana. And no philosophy is bereft of Khandana Mandana in Indian convention. Indian philosophers will always consider other views and assess their views, investigate their views, critically analyze their views, and show faults in their views, and then present one's view and then try to substantiate one's view. This is a very interesting convention in Indian philosophy. And this Khyati-vada is one of the topics where you have a lot of Khandana Mandana. So, there are many Khyatis. There are theories of error such as Asat Khyati, Akhyati, Anyatha Khyati, Sadasada Khyati, Anirvachaniya Khyati, Sat Khyati. So these are all opposite. Sometimes they are opposite to each other. Like Sat Khyati, Asat Khyati, Sadasat Khyati. True cognition, false cognition, combination of the true and false. Or Atma Khyati, Anyatha Khyati, Anirvachaniya Khyati. So there are very interesting theories on illusion. Now you will understand illusion is worth investigating rather than setting it aside. Your knowledge pursuit will be lame if we just set it aside. We need to investigate. So we will be considering these various theories of error which occur in Indian philosophical system. That is called Khyati-vada. But that is for the next time. So enough for the time being. Namaste all of you.